toy.
We're wanted men. I have spoken.
I don't know why I've always got to be like, all right, deep breath. Welcome. What was that, Jason? What were you going to say?
I was taking a deep breath too.
Oh, welcome. Well, I got to do it better than that, don't I? Welcome to episode 122 of the Smugglers Galaxy podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. I'm Glenn, and with me is Jason. Jason, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. Can't complain. It was warm this week, so no pipes froze. So that was awesome.
Nope, and it's gonna be warm all this week too, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. It was a weird, I guess, New Year's. I don't know. It was still cool. I mean, we went out today, but it was all rainy. It's like we should have gone out yesterday.
Today would have been a great day to see Avatar.
I should have gone see Avatar. Gosh, I wonder if anybody saw Avatar today.
I did that.
Yeah. How was it?
It was good. It was good. I don't know what people are expecting from it, but I thought it was good. It was entertaining. A little long, but probably could have cut some of the nature shots, and we could have sped the movie up a little bit. But that's what James Cameron likes. So,
well, I guess if you're going to do it in 3D, IMAX, and all that crap, you got to have all that stuff, right?
yeah, there's a lot of things in the movie that reminded me of other James Cameron movies, and I was like, this is the most James Cameron movie of any James Cameron movie.
Did some girl look at him and say, draw me like one of your French girls?
No, and no one said I'll be back, so I'm sorry.
Did somebody die on a door?
What? He broke up for me.
Did somebody die on a door?
On a door? No comment.
In the ocean.
No comment.
Oh man.
No, that didn't happen.
Okay, good.
No spoilers from me, peeps.
No spoilers for Avatar 2. Well, and then they're doing like 5 and 6 or something too crazy, isn't there?
Yeah, he had plans for 5 of them, but then while this one was getting like they were doing the marketing machine and promoting it and getting it out in the press, James Cameron said, well, if this doesn't do well, we could just end it at 3. And I'm like, what? You have plans for 5. Commit, man.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Let's do this thing. Otherwise, I don't know, there's people screaming in the car, no more Avatar.
Dude, it's only been like 10 years, hasn't it?
I think it's longer than that.
Oh, no,
it
has, dude.
12 to 13.
Yeah, no, okay, so I can time it. So it was, because I was getting my koi fish tattoo when somebody, like the owner of the shop, walked in and was just like, man, I went to see Avatar. That was 12, 13 years ago. So yeah, it's been
I think it was 2000-ish.
Yeah. Wow. Freaking James Cameron, come on. You know, Disney does support you, so they only gave you a land and a ride and 2 rides
and 2 rides and expansion, I think, out in Euro Disney in France. I think they're getting, maybe they're not. I don't know.
You know, it only took them like 5 years. They're still working on drawing, so no telling.
Yeah. That's a 5-year development process.
And they've been doing Epcot. When I went 19, Epcot was a construction zone, and it's still a construction zone 3 or 4 years later. But you know, the pandemic, something called COVID happened, and you couldn't get anything.
Was 2022 that bad of a year? Because I keep seeing things on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok of people saying like 2022 is really bad, and I'm like, worse than 2020?
Yeah, compared to the last 2 years, I think 22 was great. We got a lot.
Yeah, I thought we were going back up the hill again from a lull.
It was great. We were going, we did stuff, and it, like I keep saying, it's like we did some crazy stuff in 22, and I thought 22 was a good year. It was just long. It felt long because we did so much stuff.
Yeah. Well, get ready. It's going to be another long year, I would imagine.
I hope so.
Did you pick anything up this week?
I did get the battle damage TIE fighter from Micro Galaxy Squadron. I saw that. I did, been hitting all the targets and waiting and patiently and, still bugging the people and they're being cool, but I think they're gonna hit any minute now and we're gonna miss out on all of them. But
Yeah, and I see that Walmart's in play now. Someone
yeah,
in the group, one of the Micro Galaxy groups in Facebook, posted one from Walmart, and I'm like, oh great. Well,
here we go.
that store's in play. We're going everywhere now. It's no
Yeah,
longer just Target.
I'm yeah.
That
I guess
wasn't the
we'll
only
see.
ship you got this week. You got the snow speeder too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got the snow speeder. Yeah, I forgot about that. I need to start writing this stuff down because I always forget. But yeah, I got the snow speeder and you got yours too, right?
Yep, I got my snow speeder. I haven't opened it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
don't.
holding yours, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm holding it. I'm not. I haven't decided if I'm opening them yet. Now that a lot of these things are going on sale at Target, I'm picking them up to keep them in the package because I'm a package collector and I do like that toy store aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
also like opening these guys. I don't know.
yeah. The snow speeder, I thought for what it was, had a lot of playability. It had the like he was saying, Max was saying, it had the little thing that the brakes would move when you moved it,
Yep,
and then the harpoon was, that's pretty impressive for a
tow
toy
cable.
that's 3 inches,
Yeah.
having a tow cable that actually will go back in, and it'll sit. There's a little spot. It won't sit very good, but you can tuck it up, and kind of keep it out the way so it's not dangling off the back of the ship. And of course, with the figures, it's good. My only complaint I had with both of those was the damaged TIE fighter only had one wing damaged, which I was a little I didn't buy it the first go around because of that, but because Target has the wave one on sale, they don't know that they can't differentiate the waves, I guess, because of the way their computer system is.
Mhm.
So wave two's on sale for $6. And I was like, you know what? To support the line, it's a cool ship. I'll go ahead and pay $6 for it because I want this line to continue to do well.
Yeah.
And for $6, I think it was worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's worth the $12. And when you're maybe planning to figure out the vehicle and you're trying to do the story in your head, maybe the X-wing shot the one wing and it started flying out, and that's when it's going to get blown up or something. I don't know.
All right. It's a cool looking figure. Cool looking ship. They did a good job with the one damaged wing. I think it looks good. But I just was, it was just a little annoying that only one wing was damaged. But it may have cost them more money. So with the tooling, or maybe they could have done something to where both wings had the same damage on it. But I don't know. You just
Yeah.
kind of suspend belief for a minute.
I did get shipping information that my pre-order with Yoda ship from Amazon's coming, and I know I just got one from Target, so I will be opening up one of the Yodas.
Awesome.
The reason I didn't cancel it is because it's coming with a blind pack.
Oh, I haven't seen any of the blind packs.
I haven't either. I only get them through Amazon through that bundle deal.
Yeah. I at least want the R2 because I think that's a cool looking with the escape pod. It's cool. And I don't know which other ones they have, but I know, I don't know. I think they did a lot more episode like prequel stuff, right? This
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, they have the battle droid ship, the tank.
No, I'm talking on the blind packs.
Oh, blind packs. I'm sorry. I thought you were just talking about the line in general. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the blind packs kind of match up and sync with the line itself. And I think there's the STAP flying speeder thing that the battle droids fly in. And
Mhm.
yeah,
It feels like there's a lot of
support
continuity
for it.
there, and it's a lot of prequel stuff right now.
Yeah. I also got notification. I was gonna say notification that my Dark Trooper vintage collection figure shipped from Hasbro Pulse. So that's coming. And then I did get a couple weeks ago, but with the whole holiday, this might have been right after the Winter Social. But with the whole holiday thing, it just got lost in the shuffle, and I didn't write it down like I normally do. There was that San Diego Comic Con vintage collection pack with the Dark Trooper on fire and the Mandalorian fighting
That looks really cool.
Moff Gideon with Grogu.
Yeah.
I did get that. I'm gonna have to. Hasbro normally they put like a sleeve on it
Uh-huh.
to protect it, you can slide the sleeve off, and they've done this with all their exclusives, except that Andor with the Black Series Andor with that droid. They've taped that. The same thing with this thing. They've taped that, so I physically have to like untape it to open it up to see it. It's not that big of a deal. I'll do it eventually. It just right now it's on the shelf. With the holidays, I was just like, I'll deal with this later, and I put it up there. But
Oh man.
I want to see it, so I'm going to open it at some point.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty cool pack.
Yeah. Awesome. I got a back to the oh, you can't see it. I'm trying to show you. You saw, but the people on the YouTubes hadn't seen it. Got a hoverboard tattoo. So that was kind of cool. My youngest turned 18, so my wife took her to get a tattoo, and my wife got a tattoo, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, I want a tattoo. And she's like, go get one. So my tattoo artist had an opening on New Year's Eve. So I went and got I had this one spot that I'm like, a hoverboard would fit perfect right there. So I would get it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, thankfully he knew what hoverboard I was talking about, because I was talking to him when I was getting the tattoo, and I was like, I'm thankful you knew which hoverboard I was talking about, because I was half expecting you to come out with one of those like 2000 hoverboards, the little thing with the two wheels on it, just to mess with them. And he's like, "Oh, dude, that would have been." That. He was like, "Damn, that would have been awesome if I could have, thought about it." But yeah,
I messed. You said like what kind of hoverboard? I was like, maybe he's talking about Griff's hoverboard.
Yeah, no, this is
Smarties.
Yeah. Exactly. No, this isn't the bat bulldog. This is the little pink one, Hasbro, Mattel one. And he told me, he goes, I can't put any words on it because it's so small. I'm like, dude, people will understand what it is. It's all right.
Copyright Mattel.
Yes, copyright Mattel.
That was on last night on TNT. So we were watching Back to the Future 2, which turned into Back to the Future 3. And I love Marty McFly, how he's able to just stay positive in any situation. He doesn't really lose his cool, unless you call him, chicken. But that whole thing was, I remember looking. So I watched the first one over and over again. The second one comes out, and then all of a sudden it's supposed to be like, the next day that this takes place from Back to the Future 1. And all of a sudden he's got this whole hang up with chicken. I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, what? That doesn't seem right. That's not the Marty that I knew. But I just love how he's always so positive, and he's just, getting himself out of things without like losing his cool or being negative. Like, I'll never succeed. It's like, I got to get out of this now. I got to get out of this now.
That, and they changed Jennifer's like midstream.
Yeah, that didn't bother me though. Not as much as the chicken thing, I guess. But wasn't there another movie that, like, one of the Clint Eastwood movies? I think it was inspired by something, but I don't know.
Oh, probably.
I think.
I mean, they do call him Clint Eastwood, so, but just like Calvin Klein.
What's the matter with you? You yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great movie. We've already
just that whole trilogy, man.
Yeah.
Well, I keep telling people the only reason it's not Back to the Future is because Star Wars, the swag and stuff is more plentiful than Back to the Future.
Right.
I mean, it's getting better, but it's still getting better. Near.
But you're not going to get a Back to the Future celebration or a Georgia Alliance of Back to the Future collector clubs. I can't even do it without Star Wars.
We love Back to the Future here in Georgia.
Yeah. But that's all I picked up this week.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, it was very hard not to pick up any more Black Series, because Target did have some stuff for like $3, half price Black Series. And I had the Throne Room Boba Fett in my hand, and I put it down because I'm like, I don't need this, and there's other things I can spend the money on. Even though
Black Series or Vintage Collection Boba?
Black Series, the Black Series Boba.
I didn't. Where did you go for that?
It was in Atlanta off Roswell Road.
Oh.
And I just saw it the one time, and then I went back the next day, and all the Micro Galaxy stuff was still there, but that figure was gone.
I might have picked that up to print out a throne room for, my collection room. But I did see the Vintage Collection version. It was a Target exclusive for $10.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about buying that to open it to print out a 3.75 throne, but I didn't. I have that. I think this is going to be majorly overlooked. That Boba Throne playset, the vintage collection that we saw at Celebration.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good playset, and for what it was, what, $200?
Yeah.
A lot of people, there was a couple of people who said they didn't like it, but I think people have slept on that and they're going to regret not getting it. And I'm going to open that 100% confirmed. I will be opening that on day one.
Yay.
And not the bib Fortuna though, but then I'll put a Boba Fett on there.
Yeah, cool. I think I did see the TVC that, and they had a lot of retro, and I don't know if I need to look and see if I have Reva in a retro, because they had them for like $5. I should have picked her up. They had the Obi-Wan Kenobi for retro for $5, and it was just Target had all their stuff at 50% off this week.
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
Clearing out, making room for 2022.
Yeah.
Selling out the 2020, 2023, 2022 models are being sold out.
Yep. And there's Walmart's just like, keep on trucking, man. We don't care. Dude, you've been up to the Walmart near us recently, haven't you?
Holly Springs?
No,
but Bell's Ferry. I was just there to pick up a Pokemon game for my son.
Did you see the end cap of
yeah, the ITT?
The short, not the troop transport.
Yeah, Imperial Troop Transport, ITT.
Yes. Oh, look at you getting.
That's what we call in the hood, yo.
There's probably 100 of them sitting there.
Yeah, I'm waiting for those to go on clearance. I want to get one for obviously the package, but I think I want 2 of them to like set up so you have Moff Gideon ship and then 2 of those kind of angled towards it. That'd look really good.
Yeah, I can start doing stuff like that here in a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to that as I clean out this room.
Yeah,
it's gonna look awesome.
When my nephew came with us, he's 6 years old, and I got him the Falcon because that's what he wanted from the Micro Galaxy to play with. And then I just let, here, just play with all of them. So he's playing with all of them, and he told his dad, I want the train. So he wanted the Imperial Troop Transport because it looks like a train.
Yeah.
And so my brother ordered that off of Amazon. He's like, I got that coming. I was like, how much you pay for that? $35.
Oh my God.
Dude, we can walk into Walmart right now and pay $23. So he canceled this thing, and then we went to Walmart and we bought them.
And your nephew was in hog heaven, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He loves trains. So that one looked like a train. It had stormtroopers. So that was a home run.
Awesome.
I can't wait for more of those Rogue One ships to make the line for some reason. I want a U-Wing.
Yeah.
We get the Blue X-Wing coming. That'll be good.
What I know, then the Ahsoka Jedi Starship. I want that, but that's going to be is that like the 5,000?
Yeah, I think it's that. Ouch. We went through it last week. I can't remember. Or the week before. There's not much for news this week, but there was that Micro Galaxy Squadron live presentation with Maxwell.
Yeah.
And from Jazzwares, and they debuted 4 LAAT vehicles.
Yeah.
That's the ship, the drop ship from Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars. And Target has 4 exclusives, 4 different paint jobs. It comes with maybe 6 or 7 clone troopers.
Yeah, I think it fills the ship.
It fills the ship with all their gunners and then people on the inside. And then you've got a speeder bike in the back. So they help the version that's out right now, you could drop down the back and there's a little peg that sticks up. You just put your speeder in there. And so it holds it. So like if you land, you drop your ship and you flip down the back, the speeder just shoots out the back.
Yeah.
That's the thought behind it.
Right. So how much is it, like $15, $20 more than the standard?
Yeah, they're $39.99.
And what's the standard? 25, 30?
Those were $30.
Okay. So you said 49 or 39?
39.
So $10 more you're getting. Yeah.
$10 more, you get a speeder and a couple extra figures.
Right. Because how many? Yeah, because the speeder's worth the $10 because it's a blind box, and then you got to get lucky enough to find it.
Yeah. So
and we
Target exclusives.
We were having this conversation because they're repaints, and we're so pissed off at Hasbro for doing all these repaints, and then we're like, I'm not that mad at Micro Galaxy Squadron because at least I think they're giving you value with a repaint.
Yeah, it's a little hypocritical to say it in one breath, damn it, Hasbro, but then in the next breath, yay, Micro Galaxy Squadron. It's like, pick your poison. But then, I don't know. there's just I don't know. There's
I think they're doing okay. It goes back to what we talked about last week, and I think they're just doing it right versus Hasbro. Just like, oh look, there's a random Boba Fett on this comic book. We're gonna make it,
yeah.
and they're at least there's um play value to it, and they're giving you more value. Yes, they're charging you more, but you're getting 4 more troopers, and you're getting the bike, and you're getting the new paint. So the people that collect that kind of stuff will be more willing to spend the money on it, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard some people say it's an easy pass. So
That one with there's one with a skull or something on it, isn't there?
yeah,
That
was it
one's
the blue one?
Yeah, that
There's
one's
a blue one,
badass.
there's a green one, and then there's two like maroon ones. Maroon.
Yeah.
Um, they look great. I just wrestle with the fact that, I can't. I'm mad at Hasbro for the repaints and repacks, but I'm not mad at them, and I feel wrong for doing that. I'm really wrestling with that and trying to be an honest person, but
Right. And it does. I feel the same way. And even when they did like the repacks with the Falcon, no, was it the Falcon that they repacked, or with the couple
yeah,
of TIE fighters? You at
yeah,
least got, well, you got a Luke with
stands.
with huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you got the stands, and then you got Luke with the Falcon. So all those repack, and they're at least giving you something to make you say, make you think about it. Where Hasbro's just being jerks, or not jerks, but they're just taking the easy way out, I think.
Yeah, I saw a meme from someone, one of my friends on Facebook, that said something like 2022 Star Wars. What? This is a funny joke because I can't explain it. I'm trying. It's not a diagram. It's a palette maybe, or slate.
Uh-huh.
2023 slate, and it was just maybe like 100 different colors. So it
Yeah.
was just like them picking a different color to paint things. It's the same thing. It's just a different color that we're painting it this time. Funny joke. It would have been funnier if I remembered everything.
Right. But I mean, that's how I feel with Hasbro. And oh, we need money, or oh, we hadn't painted this Boba Fett yet, or hey, dig that Boba Fett up. We need to make some money.
Yeah.
So that I don't want to
We
harp
got
on it too
two
bad.
slave ones already with this line. We've got
We got no, it was never mind. It was the
Boba
two.
Fett's starships or whatever.
I thought they had packaged it. I was confusing it with the Razor Crest, where they did 2 different versions of the Razor Crest.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of that. It's like, really, that one I thumbed my nose at, the Razor Crest repack. At least the Boba Fett.
But at least that second Razor Crest came apart.
Oh, did it? I thought the first one came apart pretty decent.
I don't think so. I thought it was the second one that fell apart.
No, this one I think I can pull apart. I think it's more weathered or something.
I'll go back and check, but I'm pretty sure the first one didn't.
Okay.
We'll go back and check, and we'll come back next week on the Smuggler Galaxy podcast and report back what we found.
Yes. But and at least with the Jango Fett slave one, it was a totally different thing. But Hasbro did that too. That I did buy the slave one, but the Jango Fett slave one, just because it was $15.
Yeah, same.
And I liked the fact that it was a clean
Clean
slave
sheet.
one. The only thing I didn't like is they should have did something with the Daniel Logan, the young Boba Fett in that ship, because he doesn't fit in the ship right. He falls out every time. So I had to pose him. Did you find that? Oh no, you hadn't opened yours yet, have you?
I haven't opened mine yet.
Oh.
And I have 2. I just got to open it.
Yeah.
Too busy.
Oh,
still in the
Christmas.
process of, yeah, still in the process of taking Christmas down and starting up 2023.
Yeah.
But
it bugs
anyways.
me. It bugs me if I get something and don't open it. My wife will get a package from Amazon and it'll sit there for 3 days. And
Well,
I'm
I
like,
open
"What
the
you get?"
package. I just don't open. I open the box it comes in. I just don't open the package.
Right. Doggone.
And I didn't. Did you watch? You didn't watch the live stream, did you?
No, I couldn't find it. I was there at 9:00 going, where is it? And I couldn't find it. And then I felt like it was over really fast.
I was dressed as the elf again that night, but
which live stream?
The live stream.
For
the Micro Galaxy, the
yeah.
thing we were just talking about, because
Yes.
one of the
well, you just said you were dressed as an elf, so I was like, did you live stream you dressed as an elf?
I was dressed as an elf at a holiday party.
Okay.
For the kids, and Yeah, it was wasteless information I didn't need to add to the story. But one of the hosts of that thing said that the vehicles that they paint are vehicles that they're developing.
In
Is
the
that what
art.
the email? Is that what the post said? Basically,
Yeah, there's something that if they put it on the package, they're developing it, or that's what they're
so
working with.
so with the snow speeder, it had an Imperial Walker,
An AT-AT?
an AT-AT. That's why I said Imperial Walker. I love Filoni for making it all canon, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Yeah, tomato, but still they're developing an AT-AT, and I'm like, how big is that going to be?
Dude, that's going to be huge, and it's going to have to be expensive.
What's the price point? Yeah.
And I'm curious about that because people were complaining in one of the groups about the size of the scale of the Falcon. The scale of the Falcon was off. And
Yeah.
I commented, I'm like, guys, they have to really watch their money, because if they were going to do the Falcon to scale, it would have been a $50 plus ship.
$60 probably, yeah.
So, and I'm seeing them having trouble selling them for like $25 at Walmart. So
Yeah.
we would have paid probably $50-$60 for it, but the general public, there's no way in hell they would have paid $60 for it.
Now Max said that the Slave One, Boba Fett's starship, was the appropriate scale. It's the Falcon that was a little small, right?
Right. Yeah. The
Yeah.
Falcon, like it was just off.
Yeah. And then the Gauntlet, the Bo-Katan ship, that's a little bit smaller.
Right.
So I mean, it's not exact, but it's pretty darn close, closer than anything that's come before.
Right.
And so it's fun. It's a good line, and
Yeah.
I endorse this line.
I think we've kissed their butt enough, because we
Yeah.
talk about it all the time. But I just, if you guys hadn't checked them out, go check them out, because they're cool. I mean, I think it's right now, it's the only thing going, unless you want to, unless Hasbro's putting more stuff out, but they're not, are they?
No, I was like wondering the other day what would happen if Hasbro lost the line. Who would step in? Someone's going to do something.
Yeah.
And would it be Mattel? Would it be who's the guy? It's not Super 7, the other big NECA. Would they do it? What would that look like? Would it be more realistic 6-inch stuff, or would they go to the gold standard 3.75 and work on that? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just something to wonder about.
Right. Maybe Hasbro needs to lose the line. I don't know, but I think Lucasfilm's got bigger fish to fry than Hasbro making their toys.
Yeah. Yeah. What if? Well, I'm not going to go down that road though.
Yeah. No, I did have a cool moment at Target. I forgot to bring this up because I hit a couple of Targets today, and there was this little kid in there, and we talked Star Wars for a minute. You're just kind of passing it on, and he was looking at the Shore Trooper, and he's like, I really want this, but it's $26. And I'm like, dude, check the SKUs, check the price, because everything's discounted right now. So him and his mom, we talked for a few minutes about stuff, and he talked about the 3.75 stuff. And it's just cool when you see the next generation like really into it and really understanding who all these are. And he's like, look, there's a lat and there's this and there, and he's naming everything, and you're just like,
maybe there is hope.
Yes, there's hope for this, for the future of Star Wars.
So was the Shore Trooper on sale? I was a little confused as to.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it is.
But it's also one of those, hey, go check it out, because you never know. Because, even when you check it on the app, you could check it on the app and then it'll give you a price, but then you scan it in the store and then they give you a different price. And then when you take it to the checkout, it's a third price.
Yeah.
So Target I think it's just like Walmart. You never really know what the price is until you check out. What?
You never know what you're going to get.
It's like a box of chocolates.
Buying figures at Walmart is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you go down to Savannah to see that bench, they make you pay money now.
Really?
Yeah, they pulled the bench and put it in like a museum. Yeah, like the Savannah Museum. And you can go to the park, but you can't sit on the bench.
That might be like an issue with safety or something. People were just like hanging out on the bench and they weren't moving along or something.
Yeah.
Threw it up behind a paywall. At least the Welcome to Scranton sign is in a mall.
Yeah.
It's in the mall that they go to. I put that in quotes because they don't really go to that mall in the show,
Right.
but
It's at the Scranton Mall.
I don't
Same.
think
They did
is
the same thing with the Twin Pines Mall, right?
Twin Pine Mall. It has a sign there, doesn't it?
I think in the mall there's a sign.
Yeah. I know it as Lone Pine Mall. I don't know what you're talking about. Twin Pine. Always been Lone Pine to me. Lone Pine to me.
My pines.
We also have a giveaway on this episode.
Yeah.
We have a Moff Gideon ship Micro Galaxy Squadron that we will be randomly selecting a name, but we had 2 people write in.
Yes.
So I thought we'd read those and go through that.
Let's do it.
You want me to read both of them? Do you want to read one?
Hold on. Let me get them up. That's what she said.
I'm glad I made the Scranton reference now.
I mean, which one do you because
I
one's
have Al
really
here.
long, huh?
Al from Portland.
Okay. Read it.
Hey guys, enjoying your podcast and decided to drop you a line as requested. Summarizing my year as an adult collector, I would easily classify it as disappointing and surprising. I started the year as a hardcore Star Wars Black Series collector, but by year end canceled most of my pre-orders. The price increases, repaints, and general lack of enthusiasm from the Hasbro team have left me cold. They couldn't even see fit to paint the vents on the back of the Andor Shore Trooper. At this point, the penny pitching and corner cutting is getting embarrassing. That said, I did pre-order all the Andor figures as a way to show support for the phenomenal series. I realize they'll all go on clearance, but this is about making a point, damn it. Oh, he says, darn it, sorry. Language. Unexpectedly, my collecting is partially branched into the mythical lands of Weta and mythic legions. I never pegged myself as a fantasy collector, but it's best not to question the whims of the inner child. This world is a crazy place. Health scares, war, disease, climate change, and economic collapse seem to haunt us daily. Having a healthy escapist hobby is a nice way to turn it all off for a while. Question for you. What do you think about the social stigma that comes from adult collecting toys? Thanks for the fun content, Al from Portland, Oregon. Al, thank you very much for writing that in. We appreciate it. I always say collect what you love. And if you no longer love collecting Star Wars, maybe it's time to refocus and go back to like an earlier version of Star Wars, someplace that, maybe it's collecting variants of, vintage stuff, or maybe it's diving into the Mythic Legions. I saw when I was at PowerCon an exclusive Mythic Legion, and before the show opened, I saw this long line of people going all the way down the hall to get into this place. I can't even guess how many people. The doors open, and I just assumed everybody would flood in because I was watching the doors, and nobody came in. That line to come into the building was not just to come into the building, but to get in line for Mythic Legions. So there's a strong fan base for that. I'm sure at some point you'll have Mythic Legions, Smugglers, Galaxy, some point podcast talking about it years from now. Not this version, but like another version. So
we could
collect
have that.
What you love.
We can have that version really soon because I'm at the point now. It's like, what else do I collect? And that Mythic Legion stuff looks really cool as far as like the army building capabilities and the fact that you can take stuff apart and build other figures. They've kind of left that line open to customization on purpose.
Yeah.
And they're going to be at Toylanta, so I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to bring anything or kind of take a look at their stuff. But I'm way behind. I haven't collected a single one yet, but we got our buddy Jordan. He loves those guys.
Yeah. They're beautiful figures.
Yeah.
They're just gorgeous. And they're like if you're into fantasy, which I am, and maybe if I wasn't collecting Star Wars, I'd be collecting something like that and creating scenery with those figures in that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my issue is I have no way how to display that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but yeah.
Shoot, I don't know. Jordan kind of gave me a little bit of the background of Mythic Legion and like what they were thinking about when they made it, and like the Four Horsemen and stuff, and like 2 lines have been released from the Four Horsemen and they're still waiting for the other 2. So they definitely have got the backstory and stuff with them. So I'm yeah, it's something I'm kind of looking into getting into, but I haven't made the jump yet. And I don't know if I ever will, or it may be one of those where I pick one up that it's really awesome. I haven't done the math. I haven't looked at it. So I'm looking forward to seeing them at Toylanta. Definitely.
Yeah, they're
Look at 'em.
really cool. You're gonna like them.
Yeah, awesome.
What do you think about his question about the social stigma that comes with being an adult collector?
Uh,
We kind
it's
of talked
just
about. Sorry,
no. I think no. Go ahead. What were you gonna say? We kind of talked about it.
last week with the kidult thing, and then after we got off recording, I saw someone talk about how, growing up, people collected toy trains and they made train rooms, and people made car models, and they would have their whole setup. No one questioned that. It was just a thing people did, and they're like, okay, but now that we're doing the same thing that we've always done, collect toys, there's a social stigma. Like, what's wrong with you? You're a kid adult.
I think it's gotten better because Star Wars is now mainstream. But I definitely, you do. It is weird going into Target and being like looking for toys and asking people, "Hey, do you have this?" And you could just see that you're like the fifth person to ask them the same question. Um, and I guess more social stigma. It's when people like come and look at your room and just like, "Are you effing crazy?" It's like, no, this is what I do. This is what I choose to spend my money on.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I've gotten used to it because when you've been a nerd your whole life, you just are used to people like questioning things.
The response that I've gotten to my room from people who are not collectors has been pretty positive.
Yeah,
Even people that I thought would be cynics were not. They're pretty positive. This is pretty cool kind of language that I would get from them. But if people are giving you if they're judging you or thinking down on you in any way because of what you collect, I guess all I could say is that there's something else going on. They're horrible people.
yeah,
That's not, I don't mean horrible people, but they got something going on that's making them seem like they're curmudgeon, or maybe they envy you because they can't collect, but they would want to. So instead of saying, "Wow, I wish I could do that," "I hate you for doing that," is what they say. I don't know.
right. And people all have their thing. It may not be, you may not have a room full of it, but there's people that are into sports. There's people, they'll spend thousands of dollars to go to a football game. Uh,
Yeah,
so I mean, everybody's got their thing that they're into. So um, it's always you kind of sometimes you got to turn it around on people and like, well, what do you spend your money on? And then they shut up real fast.
life's too short to worry about things that you don't like or what people say or think. I just say collect what you love and do what you love, because
Right.
life's too short to do anything else.
Yep. So yeah,
Moving on. Do you have Lori's up, or do you want me to
I
read
do
that?
have I have Lori's up.
Okay.
I'm gonna it was a pretty good one. All right. It's long, but let me he goes, this is from Lori Golding. He goes, "Hi there, long time listener, first time emailer." First time that's happening. Lori, so that's awesome. He goes, "I'm a nerdy British guy currently living in California for my work. My wife and I moved to Los Angeles in 2017. All my belongings arrived in a shipping container, and he happened to find a small box he completely forgotten about for 20 years. It had 4 vintage figures complete. He lists like a skiff guard, a Klaatu Wigway, and that a friend of his in the 90s had given him. Oh, and an Emperor's Royal Guard, um, which sort of was the last in his child that escaped the purges of his childhood. Um, and then his high school friend, actually, it was from a friend who passed away in 2008. So he figured it'd be a nice way to remember him, clean up the figures, and display them properly. He said to his wife, "Maybe I'll get a couple of other toys I had as a kid just to make a nice little collection." How many times have we heard that?
That's the gateway drug.
I'll just start. I just need a few. I just gonna fill this case. That's what I told my
I
wife.
just need one Lando. I just need one Lando.
You're right. And then you have a room full in 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's not the first time, Lori. So welcome to the club. Um, okay.
Record scratch, smash cut.
Yeah, 5 years later, I have a complete run of vintage figures with quite a few Palatoy exclusive, all the retro collection to date. Huge Solo and Rogue One modern focus, though not much TVC yet. I've also built up almost complete runs of Aliens, Predator, Terminator, stuff that Kenner produced in the 90s, along with some test shots and prototypes too. Welcome to that club. That's a wormhole, rabbit hole just waiting to get jumped into. You can just imagine my wife standing in the background looking unimpressed by all this. Welcome to that club too. All our wives, I think, are just kind of crazy with what we're doing. But he's gone back and forth to across the pond a few times a year, and he'd pick up fodder from the US to bring to the UK and vice versa. That to me, as a Star Wars fan, would be incredible to be able to pond cross country hop with stuff. So yeah, good on you.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, the next line really is like, God, I wish.
This year, for example, I've brought 9 complete yak faces from British dealers, looking for at least a couple that are gradable and traded to the rest of the collectors in the US and Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy that they're plentiful in like the UK and Australia. And then here, everyone's just like, I need one. Just here, take 1,000. I'll take it.
Right. Well, that's what they only came out over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're going to find them in a dollar bin, that's where you're going to find them. I doubt you're paying $1 for them, but they're probably cheaper over there, or unless people know, hey, you're going to the States, so I'm going to charge you out the butt for them.
Yeah.
I got to find where I recognize the fact that everyone is to travel internationally, and some of these pieces can really be hard to source depending on where you live in the world. I guess this is my way of helping out fellow collectors carrying that sweet vintage plastic back and forth in my hand luggage. So this is where it gets a little bit, that's just his introduction. This is where it kind of gets a little serious. He goes, I have to say that your discussion about what happens with your collections after you're gone really struck a chord with me. It's been something very much on my mind this year. He lost his dad to cancer during the pandemic. Apologies for that. And, I hope, condolences. He says, everyone who has a prostate, don't ever be shy of getting it checked. And because of the, that's in quotations, and because of the travel restrictions, it was 10 months before he can go home and help sort things out, which is still an ongoing process, even a year later. He said one of his college roommates handles wills and estate planning. So he hit them up and went through all of his stuff on Zoom calls, all of his nerdy stuff on Zoom calls, which was an incredible experience that made me feel more proud of what I had collected. And like I should make more time of processing and presenting and cataloging it. And I know it's going to fall, and I know it's not going to fall on my wife to have to figure all that crap out by herself if he gets hit by a bus. So he's thanked us thank you for broaching the topic and something we should think about and perhaps don't want to. Best wishes on yours in the new year. Looking forward to hearing plenty more collecting adventures in 2023. Cheers, Lori. So yeah, I appreciate that. I think it was a topic to broach because, it's a conversation that I think everybody has to have is what's going to happen. So I'm glad that it jogged your memory and made you think about that kind of stuff and put your affairs in order.
Yeah. I was taking care of that this week for my parents, and they just moved down from New York. So they have to change things because now they're in Georgia. So they need to change their will and all that stuff for Georgia. So that's actually been heavy on my mind. And, what would I do or what would happen to my kids and all that kind of stuff. It just puts everything in perspective. And yeah, at some point, I'm going to have to get rid of the collection myself. We don't need to rehash things, but
yeah,
that's the idea, is that I'll take care of that at some point. Hopefully I don't just drop dead.
Yeah, I hope you don't drop dead either.
I don't want to drop dead.
If you do, leave your salacious crumb to me.
Crumb. Get that right someday.
One day I will. Some days it's just a trigger point for you. So
yeah, but thank you for sharing that, Laurie. That was very moving, and I'm sorry for all your losses, and I'm glad that in some small way we've helped someone through something in their life, I guess, even if it's just, what do I need to do to prepare my collection for the inevitable.
Right. So yeah, it was cool. Thanks for those emails, guys.
Thanks. Can I share my screen so I can do the
Yeah, let me get the share screen
wheel of
going.
names?
Hold on, share screen. Multiple. Can you do it yet? I shared. I
Oh
told you.
yeah, no, I could do it. The share button was kind of off screen.
Oh,
You see it now?
yes, I see it now.
We have Al and Lori here. Two
Man,
people.
it's such a
It's a 50-50.
50-50. Looks like Al is the winner.
Al's the winner. So Al will ship that out to you. We'll contact you. Stop share. And maybe I've got extra vintage collection figures hanging around the house. So maybe I'll give Lori a little taste of the vintage collection.
There you go.
go.
Start him down that road.
Yeah.
Where was I today? Oh, I went to Bargain Hunt. They had a bunch of like the Rays and stuff like that run. They had a bunch of that TVC stuff at Bargain Hunt today.
Did they have anything else? Or is it just the Ray?
The Ray and maybe one other figure, but I just kind of walked by because I'm like, I don't collect those.
I need to check my now that you mention it, my Luke and Poncho, because that was a Walmart exclusive, and obviously all the things that come from Walmart arrive cracked. So I need to see if it says a crushed bubble, and then if I can make it to Ollie's and see if they have one that I can replace.
Yeah. Ollie's has been a good place to hit some stuff, but it's Christmas, so I'm curious if they got rid of some stuff, or if people like hit it real hard, because I know they did like 20% off a couple of weeks ago. So did it get hit hard or not?
We'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out and report back next week. Maybe.
Yeah. Next week I'm excited because we're going to 2 new toy shops.
Yeah, up in Warner Robins. Yeah, Warner Robins, right?
Down in
Warner Robins. Should be fun. I'm looking forward. I always love finding new things, looking at new shops, and hanging out with some new people.
Is it 2 hours away?
I think so. We'll have a hell of a show next week.
God. Yeah. We'll bring the handheld, and we'll record something on the way down, on the way back, and then we'll interview maybe like Tony, and I think Chad's going, and hopefully there's some people in the area, because I really want to know what the perspective is like to be not being able to be included in things because you're outside of the zone of where things are happening. That makes sense.
For those of you that don't know, is we with the Georgia Club, we've expanded it statewide now, because we had people that we've had one of the members that were up here moved down towards like South Georgia, almost Florida, and he's decided to start something up down there. And then we had somebody that Tony decided to start up a Middle Georgia chapter, so that way we can have people don't have to come 2 hours to Atlanta. They can start other things, and we can help cultivate and become a real Georgia alliance, not just a Atlanta alliance of Star Wars collectors. Or hell, recently it's been Kennesaw, because that's where everything's been.
That's where we've
it's focused up this way. But
anybody outside of Kennesaw want to host something this year, let us know. Let Glenn know. But it's just really about building that community and connecting people in that area. So if you're in Central Georgia, you're not able to come up here, but maybe you're able to go to Warner Robins.
Yeah,
set the place and then
Yeah,
hang with us for a little bit.
Yep. So next week, if you're interested, just hit one of us up or look on the club page.
Yeah.
And it's up on there. It's up in the event tab.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any oh, I did I don't know. When I was getting my tattoo artist asked me about Andor, and I'm like, dude, just watch it. It's a slow burn, but it's probably some of the best Star Wars out there right now.
Yeah, and to go from Andor to Willow, I'm still struggling with that. Ugh.
Dude,
I really miss Val Kilmer.
Did you see the most recent one?
Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler alert if you hadn't seen the most recent episode of Willow. So, they go to that thing and they're in the dungeon or whatever, and my wife's like, "Is that Christian Slater?" I'm like, I don't know yet. I can't tell. I can't hear. I don't know. I haven't heard of his voice. And then he like pops up his head and he goes, "I'm Mad Margaret" or whatever. And my wife's like, "What the? Huh?
Mad Mortigan.
Mad Mortigan." And my wife's like, "What the hell? That's not Mad Mortigan." And I'm like, well, Val Kilmer can't talk because the conversation we had. So I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, maybe they recast him. I'm just going along with it, thinking they recast him. So I was kind of proud for my wife. I was like, wow, you know more than I do about something.
But there was something going on in that not toy attic, but that vault where you can hear Val Kilmer's voice, and it sounded like they were using the same synthesizers they were doing for Luke Skywalker for Val Kilmer, because it did sound like his voice.
Okay. I didn't
So
pay that
yeah,
much
he was.
attention.
Oh, well, forget it.
Well, talk to me because maybe I need to rewatch it.
I only watched it once, and so I don't know I can't quote it exactly, but when his daughter was in that vault, you can hear him saying like "Find me," but it was like seriously Val Kilmer's voice.
Okay. Which one's? Oh, his daughter's the short-haired princess that fell through the
Yeah,
stuff.
the one that's got the brother that's kidnapped.
Okay.
I do like that it's kind of flip things where it's the ladies that are saving the dude. Normally it's like the dude saving the lady. So I like how they've kind of flipped that on end, but I just find the writing to be just lazy. Like Val Kilmer's daughter gets stuck underneath the lava icicle thing, whatever that was,
Yeah.
after just arguing with Elora Danan about using your powers, and you have to use your powers. Why aren't you using your powers? And then she breaks through, and suddenly Elora Danan has to use her powers.
Yeah.
It's like we could have planned this out a little bit better, where the thing that just happened 2 minutes before is going to directly relate to something that's about to happen.
Right. And she just happens to find the wand and
Yeah, it's just I, I'm incredibly disappointed by Willow, I guess. It's just heartbreaking to say.
and I guess because I'm not that invested in it, I'm enjoying it.
Good.
It's a good I think it's a good it's been a good stopgap while we're waiting on Bad Batch to start.
Next day
Yes.
from this drop.
It'll drop 2 episodes on Wednesday so we can actually, talk about them on our 2-hour car ride on Saturday.
It's 4 if you're counting the return trip.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Bad Batch. I hope it's good. I enjoyed it the last time. I enjoyed the one-offs. I'm curious how much they're going to do. I'm curious if they're going to do stuff leading up to the Mandalorian, to tie the Mandalorian into Bad Batch or even the Ahsoka show, or, I'm curious how much they're going to do with that. Because he is kind of, they do kind of, at least seems like they like doing that, like leaving breadcrumbs to get you involved, to expect what's coming up next. So, what is it, like 16 episodes?
Yeah, it's a pretty extensive season this year.
Yeah. And then Mandalorian, March 1st.
And then Ahsoka, they released a description for that show.
Uh-huh.
This is old. This is not the one I'm thinking about. Set after the fall of the Empire, Ahsoka follows the former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano as she investigates an emerging threat to a vulnerable galaxy. So what is that emerging threat? Is that the First Order, or is that something from the dark regions we don't know about? Because isn't that where Snoke is from?
Maybe. It could be Smoke. It could be Thrawn. It could be... Well, no, Thrawn they already know about. I guess
Yeah, but if he's emerging, maybe he's getting more power and he's coming back as a real threat, an emerging threat.
Maybe. I think I'm on my 3rd rewatch of Rebels, and it just is one of those things where you like sit down in front of the TV and you don't have, you just watch it. I'm not like, I got to force myself to go through it, but it's getting to be like The Office, like when you watch The Office, you're like, I know what's going to happen on this episode, or it's that point with me. And I watched Dawn of the Apprentice or whatever, and I was just like,
Let's talk about something in Rebels real quick.
Okay.
As we wrap. Alert! If you haven't watched Rebels, it's
yes. So yes, do it again because I lost you.
Okay. I was on a roll. And now I'm just going to be trudging along trying to figure out what I said. No. Let's talk about Rebels, because something I saw this week I wanted to bring up, and it's something I don't think we've talked about.
Okay.
Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Rebels. At this point, it's been 6-7 years, so you missed the train.
Right. Get on it.
Kanan dies.
What?
Yeah. that happens. And Kanan goes blind at some point.
Yes.
And so his last moments, he's holding back exploding canister, not a canister, a tank,
Yeah, the fuel
fuel pumps or
reserves.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, fuel
but they're like
reserves.
giant canisters almost. And he holds back the fire, but then as Hera comes out to try to stop him, he pushes her back.
Right.
And they connect, their eyes connect, and his eyes kind of go from cloudy to clear.
So he gets his eyesight back.
So does he get his eyesight back in the last minutes? Was he able to heal himself through the Force like Rey does in Rise of Skywalker and Grogu does? Is that what they're?
I'm
like the first taste of that?
may wow. I don't think he purposely does it, but I think it's just you're doing something good, or you're sacrificing yourself, and you're using the Force for good, I guess, and that's sort of its reward, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think in Last Jedi she purposely does that, and in this one it just sort of happens.
Rise of Skywalker. But it's funny that you mentioned The Last Jedi, because to me, Kanan and Luke are the most Jedi of Jedis because of the self-sacrifice.
Right.
They use their powers to save others at the expense of their own lives. Are you crying again?
You're gonna make me cry again.
I didn't mean to. I'm just saying.
Now I tried. I
found your trigger point.
Yeah, dude, it's Rebels. It's anything Rebels. It's my trigger point. But when I was doing my rewatch a couple of years ago, I got to that episode, and it's like it was the Office thing. It's like I know what happens, and you start thinking, and my wife's looking at me like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, just wait. And then we had company come over, and they're like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, it's this stupid cartoon. So it just, something's getting ready to happen. And yeah, but it was like the Dawn of Apprentice. You're like, you're watching it, and something, because the title. So you're like, okay, something's going to happen here. And then Kanan loses his eyesight, and then they're all of a sudden they get into the one room where it's like Ahsoka and Darth Vader fight for the final time. And you're like, oh, that's this episode, and it just, every time you watch it, it's just because more and more backstory.
Yeah.
Because Dave Filoni's filling in the backstory for you, and you see it again, and you're like, oh, this is what that means. Now you know why it's so powerful, and it's just damn good storytelling.
I always advocate. I say that I don't always advocate. I'm advocating it now. When you're watching media and something moves you to the point of tears, that's usually an indication that there's something in your life that's you really relating to and pressing in, like the world between the veil between your world and the TV are kind of pressing in, and they're connecting. And it's affecting you. And so what I'm trying to say is that when I remember when I saw the special editions in Return of the Jedi, I started to tear up. I'm like, at the end of it, I'm like, what is going on? And didn't always have the best relationship with my father.
Right.
And so that the whole redemption thing, the father sacrificing for the son, really moved me. So I don't know, maybe with Rebels and what I've got to know about you, the found family aspect of things. It's the family family's not always the people that grew you up or helped you grow up. It's maybe the people that you find along the way that become brothers and sisters and all that kind of stuff. So maybe there's some sort of connection there.
And I wouldn't argue that.
See?
I would not argue that point.
That's probably why that show means so much to you, because it's a good metaphor for your own life. Anyways, moving on before we start. before Niagara Falls.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I love that show.
Anything else?
I think that's it, man. Yeah, there's nothing.
So next week we're going to talk about the the cross state meetup, and then we're going to try to schedule the round table in a couple of weeks. So that's coming up, and then we have the paint night.
Yes, that
for the Georgia club.
So reach out to Jason if you're in the club to sign up for it, because he's handling that one. And
then what else? Toylanta's coming up. We have the first Powder Spring show in February.
Toylanta it's
March 24th to 26th.
There you go.
Not my wife's weekend, so I'm going to be out and about that weekend.
She was really excited about that this weekend. So
Yeah. And it's guilt free. I don't have to be conflicted. I want to be here, but I also want to be there, but I can't be here because I have to be there. And
yeah.
thank you for listening to the Smuggler's Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to your podcast. If it's allowed, really helps us out and points people to our show. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback and we'd love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smuggler's Galaxy logo. You could find him at Puerto Rico Star Wars on Facebook, and to Levi Waterhouse for the music. Hasbro re-released VC66. You know what? If Hasbro re-releases VC66, we're going to change that to get your prostate checked. Because it's a good reminder and something we should do.
Right. Help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed and neutered.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob Barker. No, I was thinking like we should rotate things out every so often. And what happens if Hasbro decides to re-release VC66? I need to add something there. So maybe I'll just get your prostate checked.
Yeah.
Anyways, hashtag vote with your wallet. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.
Congratulations, Al.
Yeah, buddy.